Hey folks, Randy here. So, are we doing this again? Oh goodness. Hey folks, Randy here. So, Tuesday of this week, I was coming out to go to Hey folks, Randy here. So Tuesday of this week, I had to come out to my shop to I have no idea what, but it was a tool of some kind, I would imagine. And while I was out here, my phone buzzed saying that I had a voicemail. And I thought that was weird because the business line never rang. So how did I get a voicemail? And I realized I was like, well, it was before 8, so the phone doesn't ring yet. So I got a voicemail, and I click on it, and I listen. And as soon as I hear the voice, my whole body just begins to cringe because I recognize the voice. It's a fella that we'll call John. John is possibly the worst person I've ever worked with. But anyway, I forget to mention this later, but John is basically a slumlord. He has a property where he rents a horrible place to broke people and then kicks them out pretty regularly. And then his office, his business is just completely, the whole point of his business is just to kind of like take advantage of government programs and squeeze as much money out of people that the government will subsidize as possible while giving them like the just minimal service. Anyway. So I listened to the voicemail from John and says, hello, you have charged my bank card in the amount of $154. I don't know why you did that because you've never worked on my property. So I would like a refund and would like to know why you did that. Thank you. Hangs up. And as soon as I hear that, I'm like, what in the world? Because, like, I haven't worked for John in 6 years. June of 2018 was the last time I interacted with this dude. And so I go into my system to confirm that. I'm like, yeah, nope, I have not interacted with John since 2018. And I check his account. There's nothing. And then an email comes through, and it's John has filled out a form on my website. And in this form, he has said, you charged my card in the amount of $154. And since I've never hired you before, I would like to know how you got my card information, and I would like a refund. Please let me know when you've done this. I go, this dude, he doesn't remember me. Now, I guess I should give some background for some of you guys that have not been subscribed to me for the last 9 years. John is a guy who I met in 2016. Incredibly kind gentleman. I just could not have been nicer. I just want to reiterate, disarmingly kind. The most pleasant human being to interact with. It just makes the whole thing all the more bizarre. Wanted me to take care of his yard and a rental property and his office. So 3 properties. And so I signed up to cut his grass. She saw his property. His home is is the nicest property I have ever worked on in my life. Stunning. Water on 2 sides. Just a palace of a guest house, and his home is even bigger. Just incredible. And so I was working for him, and then, you know, some of you know, some don't. My son has health issues. My son ended up in the hospital, and he had emailed me at one point and said, hey, I need you to cut my grass by such and such date. If you can't do it, don't even bother showing up anymore. Well, I was in the hospital with my son, so fine. And I was feeling a little salty about it, so I didn't even bother responding to that email. Well, then he didn't want to pay, because back then I was sending out monthly invoices, so I had to play phone tag with him. And then when we got on the phone, I told him why I hadn't responded to him, and I was in the hospital with my son, and he accused me of lying. And then I said some mean things. He said some mean things. It didn't end well. A couple weeks later, I got my check. Great. Never deal with this dude again. So 2 years later, in 2018, I get a phone call, and it's John saying that he would like to hire my company to mow his lawn and his rental property and business, office. And I say, okay, do you know who I am? And he goes, no. I said, okay. So like 1.5, 2 years ago, I was cutting your grass and wasn't able to make it one day because my son was in the hospital, and you accused me of lying about that. And he goes, well, I don't remember doing that. Sorry. But I'd like to hire you again, I guess. And I said, okay. This feels like a question, is he the bigger psycho or I'm the bigger idiot? How do you not remember accusing someone of lying about their child being in the hospital? And conversely, why would anyone ever entertain bringing that dude back on as a customer? I don't know why I did that. But I said, okay. Oh, no, I do know why. I needed the money. So I said, okay. And, but I jacked that price up. I think, it was like a 50% increase, which actually was warranted because I had underbid it when I got him the first time. Cut his grass for a couple months, and then one day he calls me. He's like, hey, Randy, the ground down in this one part of my yard is extremely marshy. Please don't take your mower down there. Just don't worry about it this week. I was like, all right, no problem. And then when I get to the property, his wife's home. She comes out, same thing. Hey, don't take care of that area down there. Okay, no problem. And so I don't. And then 3 hours later, how dare you charge my card when you didn't mow most of the whole property, and blah, blah, blah. And I emailed him back. I was like, you and your wife both told me not to do that. We never did any such thing. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So I emailed him back, and that was June 13th of 2018. And I said, hey, I'm just letting you know I refunded your money. Please never contact me again. Please. I said please. And he didn't bother responding, which I took as him respecting my request. So now that I know that I've definitely not charged his card, I don't have his card. I haven't interacted with this lovely human being in 6 years. So I call him back, and he goes, he answers the phone. Hello. And I'm like, hey, it's Randy with Doan Cut and Trim. I got your voicemail, just following up. And he goes, yes, you have charged my card in the amount of $154, and I would like to know why, since you've never worked for me before. And I say, well, first, no, I haven't charged your card. Second, I have worked for you before. It was 6 years ago, and I had actually asked you back then to never contact me again. He goes, oh, well, that's odd. Let me pull this bill up here. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, yeah, I see here there's a charge for $154, and it's lawnstarter.com. How did you get Doan Cut and Trim out of lawnstarter.com? So I said, that's not what I said. That's what I was thinking. That actually would have been a great thing to say. I always think of good stuff to say later. But I said, I've never been on lawnstarter.com. Actually, if you look up lawnstarter.com, Doan Cut and Trim, There's a video about lawnstarter.com where I'm saying it looks like a crappy service, don't join. And so I was like, I'm not on there. I've never been on LawnStarter. What I would recommend is you go on your lawnstarter.com account and find out who you hired and ask them why they charged your account. Oh, yes, I guess that would be a good idea. See? Yeah, I think so. It's what I would do. And he's like, oh, okay, well, thank you. I said, yeah, you're welcome. And I said, I just want to reiterate. The last time I spoke to you was June 13th, 2018. I love giving specific date references and stuff. And in that conversation, I specifically asked you to never contact me again. Working with you was very unpleasant. I'm not going to do it again. Please, don't contact me again. And he goes, oh, okay. And I said, great. Hung up. And then pulled up his email, reiterated everything I said on the phone, just, confirming we didn't charge a card. I would recommend you contacting LawnStarter since they did, and went on from there. But I just couldn't believe that, man. I mean, I could believe it. I've been waiting for that phone call for 6 years, and it finally came. And I handled it better than I thought I would. I can't wait for the next time he contacts me, because at this point, it's been I'm shooting for thumbnails now. It's been 3 times. Three times. That should work. So, this is Randy. I just, been looking for an excuse to get back on YouTube because I just hadn't been feeling it. And when that guy called, I was like, oh, this is the perfect thing to come back on. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Should be, I would imagine it'll be sooner than 9 months from now. So have a good one.